Each year, thousands of people receive a life-saving organ transplant, with thousands more receiving life-changing tissue transplants, such as a cornea to help them see again, or a bone transplant to help restore mobility. This is only made possible because people are willing to help others by donating their organs or tissue when they die. So how does it work? Many conditions and illnesses can lead to an organ failing, and if you suffer from one of these, you may require a donated organ to replace your failing one. If this is the case, you will be assessed to see if an organ transplant is the best treatment option for you, and if you meet the criteria, you will be added to the UK's transplant waiting list. This list contains the details of everyone in the UK who has been assessed for and meets the criteria for a transplant. This national system allows donated organs to be matched to the best possible recipient and offered to their doctor. For patients and their families, the wait on the transplant list can be long and unpredictable. It can take a long time for a suitable organ to become available, and while waiting for that life-changing phone call, patients can become too sick to receive a transplant, or worse, die without getting the organ they need. Right now, around 6,000 seriously ill people are waiting for a life-saving transplant, and many will die before a suitable organ becomes available. You can give hope to patients who are waiting by registering as an organ donor. Most donated organs for transplant come from donors who have died, but some organs come from living donors who give a kidney or part of their liver. To donate organs after death, a person needs to die in hospital in specific circumstances. Often it's when someone can't be saved after a serious accident or sudden brain injury, such as a stroke or brain hemorrhage. Doctors always do everything they can to save a patient, and organ donation is only ever considered if all efforts to save the patient's life are unsuccessful. The decision to donate organs will only be made after the patient's family and doctor have discussed and agreed that recovery is no longer possible and to withdraw life-sustaining treatment, or if the patient has been declared dead through brainstem death tests and is still on a ventilator. A specialist nurse will check if the patient was a registered organ donor. If they were, the nurse will sensitively discuss this with the family, who will be asked to support this decision. If the patient had not made their wishes known, they will be asked to make a decision on their relatives' behalf. A time of tragedy and loss for one family can be a time of hope for another, and the knowledge that their loved one could help change lives can help the patient's family come to terms with their loss. Once the patient's family have confirmed that organ donation can go ahead, a number of tests will be conducted, and some personal information will need to be gathered in order to confirm that it's safe to transplant the patient's donated organs into other people. All relevant information is made available to the appropriate transplant teams, who may have potential recipients for the available organs. Organs are matched and offered based on different factors, including waiting time, urgency, and clinical reasons such as tissue type, size, and blood group. This is to ensure that donated organs go to the most suitable recipients. Transplant teams can also decline organs offered for transplantation from donors if they don't feel they are suitable for their patient, based on the information they have available to them. In this situation, the organ would be offered to the next most appropriate patient. The patients receiving these organs are given another chance at life that they wouldn't have been given without the donor and their family. Organ donation surgery needs to happen quickly after a patient has died, in order to give the transplanted organs the best chance of success for the recipient. However, the matching of the organs to the right patient or patients can take time. Organ donors are treated with the same respect, dignity, and care as any other patient. And with surgery happening shortly after death, funeral arrangements will not have to be delayed, and families wishing to have an open casket funeral are still able to. Once the donated organs have been removed, they are transported to hospitals around the UK, ready to be transplanted into the selected recipients. These patients are given another chance at life that they wouldn't have had without the generosity of the donor and their family. Around 3,700 organ transplants take place across the UK each year, thanks to people donating their organs after they've died. Many transplant recipients go on to lead a life that would not have been possible without a transplant. This not only impacts on the recipient, but potentially the quality of life of their family too. You can give hope to patients and their families by registering as an organ donor. Joining the NHS Organ Donor Register is the best way to ensure your decision is honoured when you die. Go to organdonation.nhs.uk and sign up now and tell your family you want to give the gift of life.